Building a pipeline to this region is a gamble. It's not only because of the potential impact on our water, but others as well. And this whole area is heavily karst. Giles County has more karst than any other county in Virginia. It could lead to instability because the surface on which the pipe is resting could collapse. It collapses on its own without any work. We have places where the sinkholes are just almost on top of one another. And once they get into this, it'll be like a landmine. They're going to come through here and build 10 by 10 foot trenches. They're going to disturb the terrain. It's going to almost for sure result in changes in the water flows, which will affect our access to drinking water. On top of all that, Giles County is a seismic zone. It's an active seismic zone. It's the center of the largest earthquake in this part of Virginia, and there are constant small tremors. So we're not just worried about the big one, which would clearly cause a threat to this. We're worried about those slopes with the slip soils on them, and then these moderate tremors on top of it. And like, what a stupid place to build a pipeline.
All of the geology here is what they term karst. What that means is the land is full of caves and sinkholes and hidden rivers and hidden streams, and they meander around underground. We don't know where they come out. Anything that we do to damage the water supplies here, it could contaminate for miles and miles and miles. It could actually go all the way to the Atlantic Ocean and to the Gulf of Mexico.
In 1941, my dad witnessed a sinkhole right up here on the ridge, about 100 foot from where the pipes could be laid. And this is like a 350-acre watershed. The water runs off this mountain with nowhere to go. It sinks into a sinkhole, which feeds Sinking Creek. And so when they clear cut this, there's going to be an excessive amount of runoff. And all that sediment and all is going to be contaminating Sinking Creek. And who knows where else in people's wells. But if this thing were to rupture, the earth shift, and we're in a seismic zone, crack this pipe, leak this high pressured gas into these caves, and it has no odor. It's not like the gas in your house where they add an odor to it. This has no odor, so you don't know that it's leaking. And if it leaks in a cave and you happen to have static in your sweater, and you might be a mile or two from the pipe, I mean, you could just blow the whole side of the mountain up.
All the water here is connected in ways that really aren't mapped. And yet the pipeline, a huge pipeline, 42 inches in diameter, buried in the ground, leaking, it will leak, there's no question, perhaps exploding, would be seeping water so that water that people are using in their wells miles away could be contaminated by the pipeline. So an important thing to remember about the geology here and the risk factors is that it's not just one thing. It's several things that are all happening together at the same time and in the same place. First of all, you have steep slopes. Slopes of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%. That means that there's a landslide-prone situation. Then you have poor rocky soils. That magnifies the problem. Then you have karst near the bottoms of these areas and in some areas on top. Limestone with sinkholes that could collapse. They're on that mountain. That's not all. You're in the middle of the Giles seismic zone, scene of the largest earthquake in Virginia history. It had an earthquake last year. So you have steep slopes, karst, landslide-prone soils, the pipeline company themselves admitted, and it's in the middle of an earthquake zone. What could possibly go wrong?